Welcome to English Through Ideas, where we learn English through powerful ideas. Today, we've got a truly fascinating explainer for you. We're going to step inside the mind of an absolute genius, not just to figure out how technology works, but to actually understand ourselves a little bit better. We'll be looking at the ideas of Nobel Prize winner Demis Hassabis, the guy leading Google DeepMind, to see how the rules of artificial intelligence can help us master our everyday lives.
Here is the roadmap for how we're going to break this all down today. First, we'll explore the game of life, and then we're going to talk about finding hidden patterns. After that, we'll look at learning from our failures, followed by step-by-step growth. And finally, we'll wrap things up by looking ahead to a beautiful future. Let's dive right into it.
All right, part 1, the game of life. You know, Demis Hassabis actually started out as a game designer way before he became a top AI scientist, and that unique background gives us some really incredible life lessons. So our first big idea moves away from all the complex science and looks at something we all do: play.
So, let me ask you directly, why do we play games? Is it just for fun? Just to kill some time on a Sunday afternoon? Well, if you really think about games like chess or poker or even your favorite video games, they actually serve a much deeper purpose in human psychology.
And this brings us to a really brilliant quote from Hassabis. He says they're great little microcosm simulations of the world, a safe environment where you can get better at your decision-making process. What's so interesting here is how we view games. They allow us to co-create a story. Think about it. In real life, you might only make a few massive decisions, right? Like what career to pursue or who to marry, but in a game, you get to practice making hundreds of decisions in a totally safe space.
Let's actually look at that word for a second, microcosm. A microcosm is simply a small, safe place or situation that reflects the real, larger world. Basically, games are just tiny versions of real life. And by practicing inside this little microcosm, we get so much better at navigating the big, complicated world outside. Let's move on to section 2 and see how this builds into understanding the world around us. This is all about finding hidden patterns. Hassabis explains that AI literally learns by watching nature. He points out, everything that we see around us is subject to some kind of selection process. Nature's doing a search process. Think about the shape of a mountain over thousands of years, or how a houseplant naturally grows leaning toward the sun. They survived and took those shapes for a specific reason. And just like artificial intelligence learns by watching these patterns in nature, we can learn a ton if we just pay attention to life's hidden structures.
This is such a great way to illustrate a core truth about our lives. It is so easy to walk around feeling like life is just random chaos, like things are just happening to us for no reason. But the reality is actually much closer to a hidden structure. Your daily habits, the way people react to you, the actual results of your hard work, these aren't random at all. They're patterns. And once you start observing these patterns, you can completely change your life.
So the absolutely crucial takeaway here is this. The universe is an informational system. Now, okay, I know that sounds like some heavy, complicated physics concept, but it's actually super practical. It just means that everything around you is giving you information. Your feelings, your daily conversations, your morning routines, they're all just data points. If you pay close attention, you can use that information to grow.
But wait, what happens when the information we get from the universe is negative? Like, what happens when we mess up or make a big mistake? That brings us right to section 3.
Hassabis has a totally refreshing perspective on this. He says, there's no such thing as failure, really. You can learn something kind of equally valuable from an experiment that doesn't work. In the science world, they call this blue sky research. If you design a really good experiment and it completely fails, guess what? It still splits the possibilities in half. It tells you exactly what not to do next time. Adopting this scientific mindset can completely change how you feel about losing.
Let's define this super clearly. Learning through failure simply means using our mistakes as valuable information to find the right direction. Failures aren't stop signs, they're just signposts guiding us forward. Think of it like this. If you touch a hot stove and burn your hand, that sudden pain isn't a failure. It's just instant information telling you to move your hand away immediately.
This completely shifts our perspective when we compare winning to mastery. In things like martial arts or chess, winning just means you managed to beat someone else on one specific day. Big deal, right? But mastery is continuous self-improvement and deep self-knowledge. A loss keeps you humble because it highlights exactly what you still need to learn. When your ultimate goal is mastery, every single failure is just another step on the path to getting better.
And that leads us perfectly into Section 4, step-by-step growth. So how does this actual improvement happen? Well, we can actually borrow a brilliant concept straight from AI's evolutionary algorithms.
Over at DeepMind, they have these incredible AI programs that literally write and improve their own code over and over again through a very simple cycle. Try, fail, learn, improve. And honestly, this is the exact same blueprint for human personal growth. You don't become an expert overnight. There's no magic trick. You go through this cycle thousands of times, gathering small bits of information each time you run through it.
In the AI world, they actually call this process hill climbing. It means reaching the top by making small, incremental improvements every single day. You don't need giant, exhausting leaps to grow. You just need to get a tiny bit better. Learn one new English word, read just one more page of a book, or practice a new skill for 5 minutes every day. That is exactly how you reach the top of the mountain.
Finally, let's look ahead to Section 5. If we all keep hill climbing, where do we actually end up? Let's flip the narrative about artificial intelligence from fear to true inspiration.
Hassabis predicts that there is a 50% chance we will reach artificial general intelligence, or AGI, by the year 2030, or maybe shortly after. AGI basically means an AI system that matches human cognitive functions across the board. Now, I know some people find that thought a bit scary, but Hassabis frames this as an incredibly exciting milestone for humanity.
He envisions a completely new kind of future driven by this technology. He calls it a radical abundance era, where there's plenty of resources to go around for maximum human flourishing. Just imagine that beautiful future for a second. A world where humans are no longer constantly fighting over limited land, limited food, or limited energy. If we use AI to help us solve our biggest scientific roadblocks, life completely transforms. With AI acting as this ultimate power tool for science, we could achieve just mind-blowing things. We could discover unlimited clean energy, like fusion or hyper-efficient solar power. We could start curing complex, devastating diseases because we'll finally understand biology at the deepest cellular level. Cheap, limitless energy means we could pull fresh water right from the ocean for every single person on Earth. And yeah, it even gives us the advanced rocket fuel and physics we need for journeying to the stars. It is such an incredibly hopeful, inspiring vision of our true potential. So I want to leave you with a final provocative thought today. What pattern will you learn today? Will you look at your mistakes as failures or as highly valuable information? Will you take just one small step today to hill climb towards your own mastery? The universe is absolutely full of patterns just waiting for you to discover them. Thank you for learning with English through ideas. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more ideas, more English, and more growth.